But here we go. We're on a theme with women and their road trips. It was the year after I graduated college, and I'd spent the first year after college procrastinating growing up. I lived in Telluride, Colorado. If you've ever been there, it's a really cool place. And flew home in June to spend what I thought was just going to be a summer. We all know how that goes. Parents talked me into staying a little longer. Around the end of July, I was getting a little itchy, missing the West Coast, and I was like, you know what, I have some stuff I can pick up, so I think it's a good time to go cross country. Talked my two girl cousins into coming along with me. They were both kind of in a transitional period as well. My oldest cousin was just starting a new job. She's a school teacher and just landed a job to start in September, so this is kind of her last hurrah. My other cousin just landed a job, and she felt like this was a good opportunity before she didn't get any more vacation. So anyway, we were off, and our plan was to go cross country, very adventurous, stop in Graceland, because you got to see Graceland once in your life, hike the Grand Canyon, and then head to Telluride to pick up the rest of my stuff. So the theme of this really is about stuff. 3 girls going cross country, 20-something, we got a lot of stuff. So they came to pick me up at my house 3 hours late, of course, because they had to pick out the right color of the SUV that we were going to be driving. And the car was already packed to the gills. Between us, I think we had like 15 pairs of shoes. My one cousin had like shift dress from Eileen Fisher, because that's where she was working. Lots of coordinates and separates that can go with every pair of shoes that she had. Anyway, so here we are going cross country. This is before GPS and the map system. This is 1998, aging me a little. And so we had a collection of maps that we picked up from Borders, and we had highlighted the route with a yellow highlighter marker. Okay, Route 40 south, head to Graceland, first stop. Drove through Tennessee, pretty uneventful, picked some peaches, stopped at Walmart, camps. Then the next night we went to Graceland. And funny enough, it's pretty much just a monument to a dead man with a lot of stuff. There was like lines of people like packed, ready to see this guy's stuff. And here we were, just driving cross country. We smoked a little of the funny stuff before we went in, and it has made the stuff a lot more interesting, particularly the jungle room. Anyway, you get to the end, it's kind of a little weird that you're in his backyard looking at the memoriam to Elvis in his backyard. And so we got in the car, head west, we head through the panhandle of Texas and saw a lot of cows and slaughterhouses, pretty scary stuff. And then the next destination was the Grand Canyon. Now this was something I had done before when I lived in college. I went to ASU, and it was a trip that I had done before. I'd hiked the canyon. It's an amazing experience if you've never been there. Hiking the canyon is a totally different perspective than the viewer that comes and looks at the canyon. You're actually going in, and it's about a 13-mile hike. So we get out of the car. This is after a long drive through the middle of the night, and we're in the desert and there's no signs, just canyon. And we pull in the parking lot, we pack up our stuff and start hiking in. What's interesting about hiking into the Grand Canyon, it's the desert. Now this is the end of July, so it's just the start of the monsoon season, so you always have the risk of monsoons, rain, and of course, desert temperatures. So we're carrying our backpacks full of stuff, and the whole while I'm going down and I'm thinking to myself, I came all this way to pick up a bunch of crap that I don't even think I need anymore, and I'm just hiking this canyon, and it's the most beautiful and profound and monumental experience, and it's exactly what I was looking for. And we're hiking into the canyon, and we come across this really cool Havasupai Indian, and he's kind of directing us along our route. We set up our tent. We check out some waterfalls, and the next morning we wake up and he takes us on this great hike through the waters. And there's this great myth in the Havasupai where the Indians actually believe that the people, when they pass, they come back and they become part of the mountains, and they become part of the canyons, and they become part of the water. And in that moment I realized, like, none of this, all this stuff that I carried in here, all this stuff in my back and my car, packed up 15 pairs of shoes and 3 suitcases, really was nothing. So it's a pretty cool trip. We hiked back out, and the next day, and just as we were hiking out, the monsoons came, and it was just enough rain to keep us cool, so we made it out through the canyon safely. And I don't even really remember the last part of the trip. I remember stopping in Telluride, picking up a couple things, and just really felt like, what was this for? And luckily, Telluride has this really great little place on Main Street called the Free Box. And I decided in this trip that all this stuff that I'd come here for really didn't mean much to me, so I put all of my belongings, my clothes, my artwork, even a Trek bicycle in the Free Box, and we headed back home. And the lightest I ever felt. So that's my road trip story.